Good morning. I'm Pete Najarian. This is the Take for Market Rebellion. And what an interesting day we're coming off of yesterday, where the leadership role wasn't in the standard names that we've been talking about time and time again. So, was it Apple, Facebook, Tesla, Google, Netflix? No, they were kind of quiet yesterday. What were the names that were absolutely leading yesterday when it comes to the NASDAQ names and some of the hot stocks? You had Monster, absolutely to the upside. You look at Lulu, look at PayPal. You had the airlines, American, Delta, Southwest, all moving to the upside as well. But the real standout, I think, yesterday was in two different categories. The material space, and specifically talking about gold and silver, but we'll throw copper in there as well, but gold, silver, copper, and also what was going on in energy. And that big spike up that we had yesterday, we didn't hold on to all the gains for the day, but a nice big move yesterday in energy. As a matter of fact, when you look at the XLE yesterday, up about 1.7%, give or take, and the OIH, really, we talk about that as the beta names oftentimes. That was up 4% yesterday, and those are names like Transocean and Halliburton and Schlumberger and Devon Energy. Those kind of names absolutely were moving to the upside in a big way. We talked about oil for a while there, sort of being stuck around that 40 level and absolutely pushing up towards 43. A little bit of a pullback later on. But the real story of the day outside of energy, really, you have to look at gold. You have to look at silver. You look at gold trading over 2050. You look at silver yesterday over 27. And I mentioned crude already around that 43 level. But you look at GLD, you look at SLV. Now, they have been on an absolute sprint. And the indications of late have just been there's still more to go. I mean, they just continue the buying there. And I'll probably hit on some of that a little bit later when we talk about what's going on today. But the miners too, and that's an area that we hadn't seen as much, but now all of a sudden we've seen that really pick up, and we've seen the activity there over the last couple of weeks steadily picking up, and there's certain names that definitely are pushing, hitting new highs. What do you got? Pan American Silver, Kinross, Freeport McMoran, Yamana got up and over towards 7, Newmont, Barrick, all these names pushing new highs. So it gives you a sense of just how much participation we are seeing. So it is in the GLD, it's in the SLV, but also you look at these miners. We talk about the GDXJ oftentimes, the junior miners. That's had an explosive move as well, and we've had option activity in many of these different areas as well. So yesterday, when we look at the Dow, yeah, we had some nice participation from some of those industrial names, Caterpillar and Honeywell and Raytheon and Boeing, but you know, really, it was a story, I think, yesterday that really you have to focus on energy and you've got to look at those metals. Now, for today, what are we looking at? Well, the pre-markets, we were off better than 100 points definitely early on, had a nice big sharp turn off that jobless number. It's still above a million, but it was 1.1. They were looking for 1.4, so that was a huge improvement. We watched the markets absolutely react to that and absolutely move towards positive territory. Once we get into the day, it's a little bit flat. You're starting to see things sort of shifting around. We had definitely the healthcare area leading early on. Names like J&J and United Health and Merck and Pfizer and those names were the early movers. But then there's been a little bit of a shift as the markets have taken it to the next level and started to move up a little bit further. And it's McDonald's. Now we see an Apple starting to move as well for the Dow. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, names like Home Depot, all these names. Now, I shift over back to the NASDAQ once again because we're not seeing the power names once again. It's those secondary names that are sort of moving, at least the positive names right now, and more strong on the positive side in the NASDAQ with names like Tesla and Activision and Costco and Wynn. And then, of course, I mentioned yesterday the airlines, and we have the airlines once again today performing a little bit better. So the NASDAQ definitely sort of lagging right now as the markets themselves are moving mostly off right now what we're seeing in the Dow. And that's certainly something that stands out. So when we talk about gold and silver, what are we looking at? So gold today up about 1%, silver up about 5% today. So a nice sharp move to the upside. Now, since July 24th, I wanted to write this down for you guys because this is really pretty interesting. It's why we follow the smart money. It's why we are so dedicated in the field that we love, which is the derivatives markets. But let me just give you a little bit of a rundown. Since July 24th in the SLV, here's the kind of paper that we have seen. A buyer of 18,000 Septembers, a buyer of 10,000 August, a buyer of 19,000 November, 45,000 Novembers, 33,000 September options, 94,000 September options, 23,000 October options, 33,000 November options. It gives you a little bit of a sense of when we say we see unusual option activity and acceleration, that gives you an even better sort of a test of what we're really talking about here, because the SLV has moved from 21 to 26 in that time frame. So another example of they're buying, it's been very active, and they just continue to come at it day after day after day. And I just rattled off all those. Those are huge numbers. When we're talking about 94,000, 33,000, 45,000, these are huge players in the industry, and that's something that we certainly are taking. We have to look at that. We have to follow that, and it's part of why you'll hear us talking about, well, we've seen this activity for this many weeks or this many months, or the rolling from one option to another, from 1 month to another. Those are what's so critical for us as we're trying to dissect these markets and trying to figure out the best ways to attack them and try to reduce risk, all of those things that we talk about each and every day. So the markets, as I say, started off the day pretty flat. A lot of people seem to be waiting now for Congress. They want to see what kind of compromise, what kind of deal. Is there a deal? Is there anything that we can grasp onto right now? And we've heard from both the Republican side and the Democratic side. Didn't sound all that positive, but that could be just, the movement back and forth and trying to play a little bit of a chess game of some sort. But at the same time, this is something that's obviously very, very important. The markets are definitely going to key off of this. So it feels like I said early on, at least, it feels like a sleepy kind of a summer day. And it did start out that way. The Dow's up a little bit. I just wanted to take a refresh. It's up about 60 points. Not huge. We're talking about less than 0.25% right now to the upside. But is there unusual option activity? Absolutely. We are definitely seeing it. By the way, yesterday was really great to see with the volumes and with everything. And we talk about the VIX all the time, trading right around that 24, 23 level. But you look over at the VIX and you see that and you say, well, maybe we're starting to slow down a little bit in terms of volumes. Absolutely not. Yesterday, well over 30 million contracts once again. So a nice, strong day. Today feels a little bit weaker. It feels a little bit more like that summertime day. And I have to point out, one of the lowest levels we've seen in the volatility index since going way back to February today, as we're back underneath 23 right now, trading right around 23. We've been under 23 earlier. So unusual option activity. What are we seeing today? Work. That's the symbol, WORK. Actually, it's Slack Technology is this particular name. So it hit on Monday. It's hitting again today. We got a buyer today of 16,000 of tomorrow's expiring. It's just amazing how short-term these guys go. 16,000 of tomorrow's expiring 31 calls. Stock's trading about 30.50. It's only a 50-cent move to the upside, and these options can really start to move. But they were paying about 15 cents. They paid all the way up to about 45 cents for these options. Just want to point that out. You hit twice in the same week. Both of them very short-term. Matter of fact, Monday they're looking for the August 14th expiring. These today, they're looking for the expiration for tomorrow. So expecting a very, very quick, sharp move to the upside. We'll see if that happens. But certainly it's something that's pretty interesting and interesting to see twice in the same week. That's certainly something that stands out for us. Folks, I am a little bit more dressed up. Why? Well, I'll be on the halftime report today on CNBC. We were going to have unusual there, of course. Got to have something different then. But all kinds of stuff that we're going to be covering. And obviously, as everybody's covering what's going on over with Congress and what's going on in Washington, D.C., a lot of discussions, I'm sure about that. But I think it's interesting to see with all of that going back and forth and all of the headaches that we know are going on there, to see volatility where it is right now is definitely pretty shocking. So keep an eye on that. And folks, have a great day of trading. Knowledge is king. There's no doubt about it. And if you can get that knowledge, and if you can want to sign up with our great people here that we've got at Market Rebellion, we've got some of the best educators out there. And I know that you will have a lot better chance for success with that education. Folks, have a great day of trading.